All right, good evening again, baseball fans, and welcome back. So we continue with the KCCL Deadball 19th Century Baseball Tournament. We go to Game 4, and this is going to be the 1912 Boston Red Sox against the 1884 Providence Grays. The 1912 Red Sox with a 2-1 lead. Last night saw the 1894 Baltimore Orioles draw even at 2 games apiece now with the 1885 Chicago White Stockings. So this is a best of 5. Two of them, or one of them now is already decided. So the 1908 Cleveland Naps and the 1907 Chicago Cubs will begin their clash after this one is decided. So will the dead ball team make it, or will it be one of the 19th century teams? We shall find out. It's going to be a lot of fun, as it has been, and I really, really appreciate everybody kind of backing this strange sort of thing, this ancient baseball. So here we go. And let's get to the pack. Let's get to the pack. And here we go. Yes. All right. So let us look at the starting lineup for the 1912 Boston Red Sox. And I've been reading that book, Tales from the Deadball Era, and I should probably introduce these guys as to whether they're Catholic or Protestant. Um, Interesting to note that all kinds of conflict going on in the Deadball era. It was actually a very, very rough and sometimes baseball brutal game, and even occasionally a few fatalities, believe it or not, like especially in the minors. But in left field, Duffy Lewis, who was a Catholic. In center, Tris Speaker, who was rabidly anti-Catholic for a while till he married a nice Irish Catholic girl. In left, right fielder Harry Hooper. Tris Speaker and Harry Hooper did not really talk to one another. Tris Speaker didn't like Catholics, but Harry Hooper, nice Catholic body there. All right, from first to third, Jake Stahl. Not so sure about all these guys. So Steve Yerkes at second, Heine Wagner at short, Larry Gardner at third, Bill Kerrigan. Kerrigan and Speaker, no love lost there. So Kerrigan catching, and you can probably guess by his last name, good Irish Catholic, as was Ray Collins. So there you go. So hopefully no Protestant and Catholic dust-ups here in today's game, either in one team or between the teams. Leading off here, Paul Hines, the center fielder. Paul Hines for Providence is 6 for 12, including a home run. 6 runs batted in for Hines. We're ready to get underway here. The weather at Fenway Park. It is 55 degrees. It's clear with calm winds. Great day for some baseball. All right, Ray Collins, line on him in a tournament. He's 1-0 with a 2.00 under an average. He's worked 9 innings, given up a home run, walked no one, and struck out 1. A whip of 6.67. And Collins right now, Ray Collins, holding opponents to a 207 average in 1912 for the Boston Red Sox. He posted a 2.53 under an average. He went 13-8, 199 1/3 innings pitched, 42 walks, 82 strikeouts for the world champion Red Sox of 1912. All ready to go. Collins to deal, and here is the pitch. And Hines bloops this one high and on the third base side, and Larry Gardner is going to have plenty of real estate to take care of that. 1 up, 1 down. For Cliff Carroll, left fielder, hitting 267 with 2 runs batted in. He's got a stolen base. Ray Collins sets and fires to Carroll. The 1-2 base hit left field. This one past Heine Wagner at short. And a base hit for the Providence Grays here in the top of the first inning. Bill Clem umpiring today's game. And as this is a tournament, Rick Owens will also be. So we have 2 umpires today. Very, very special game. And Collins deals to Joe Start. And on the move is Carroll. And Cliff Carroll in there with a stolen base. So a runner in scoring position. Providence coming out running. Lefty Joe Start back in the box now. And the 1-0 delivery. Start swings. And this one, line to left base hit. Harry Hooper up with it. Rounding third, but holding is Cliff Carroll. So Providence with runners at the corners. Joe Start at first. Cliff Carroll at third for Barney Gilligan, hitting just 167 in the tournament. Does have 2 runs batted in, a stolen base, a run scored. And he also has grounded into a double play. So 1 down here, just underway at Fenway. Collins from the stretch. There goes the runner, and Joe Start is safe. So a couple stolen bases, and Providence coming out playing aggressively with a running game. 2 in scoring position. Carroll at third, Start at second. Barney Gilligan back in the box in the 0-1 delivery. Fastball swung on, out to medium, deep left. Duffy Lewis making the catch. Cliff Carroll will tag and hold third, so 2 down. Providence trying to get these runners around, at least one of them, and here is Jerry Denny. Jerry Denny hitting an abysmal 0.67 in this tournament with just a run batted in. He has managed a stolen base and a run scored. All right, southpaw Ray Collins deals. And Denny completely knocks this one. If the Mass Pike was there in 1912, it just bounced off of it. So with 2 out, Jerry Denny knocks it all the way out of here. And Providence putting 3 here in the top of the first. The 1912 Boston Red Sox slightly favored in this series, but the Providence Grays fighting back. Arthur Irwin now, the shortstop, hitting 154 with a run batted in. Collins deals the 1-0. Curveball grounded back to Collins, comes off the mound about 3 steps, fires on to Stahl for out number 3. However, 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors. We've played a half inning against the Providence Grays 3, and the 1912 Boston Red Sox coming to bat. Mick F. Hey, good to see you, Mickey, and saw your I saw your message to Discord. I haven't responded yet because I'm kind of still thinking through sort of how to respond. I mean, I can certainly understand your concerns and everything, but let me think of a good response. We'll maybe have a little chin wag about it. All right, here is Tris Speaker. We're good to have you in, my friend. But first, let's look at the starting defense here for the Providence Grays. In left field, Cliff Carroll. In center, Paul Hines. In right, Paul Radford. Around the horn from first to third. Too bad Cousin Ken is not in here tonight. Hopefully the Grays will be okay without his leadership. Joe Start at first. Jack Farrell at second. At short, Arthur Irwin. At third base, Jerry Denny. Catching, Barney Gilligan. And pitching, Cyclone Miller. There's a name to conjure with. Making his first appearance for the Providence Grays in this tournament in 1884 for the Grays. A 2.08 under an average. He had 3 wins, 2 losses, worked 14 2/3 innings, walked 11 and struck out 12. The league hit .259 against him with a 1.15 or 1.356 whip. And here is Tris Speaker. The Gray Eagle hitting .417, a home run, 4 runs batted in for Speaker. All right, Cyclone Miller. We have 2 lefties pitching tonight. Deals to Tris Speaker, the 1-0. Speaker opens it up with a base hit over the head of Farrell at second. Speaker rounding first and holds to the first base hit for the 1912 Red Sox. Brings up Larry Gardner. Larry Gardner off to a good start in this tournament, hitting a .417, a home run and 2 runs batted in for Gardner. Miller has the sign from Gilligan, the wind and the pitch. Gardner swinging on this one, and this little changeup bouncing away from Barney Gilligan. And Speaker with just enough speed to make it to second. So it didn't go all the way to the backstop. So the Gray Eagle on at second. I'll have to talk about something that I just learned. Hey, World's First Gamer. More about Deadball that I didn't know was a phenomenon in Deadball called courtesy runners, which are different than pinch runners. So a very, very interesting thing. We'll talk about courtesy runners maybe later in the broadcast. Larry Gardner now back in the box, and the 1-0 delivery. And Gardner, base hit to left. Rounding third is Tris Speaker, and they're going to hold Speaker at third. So nobody out. Runners at the corners for the Red Sox. Red Sox have some work to do, and the tying run comes to the plate at first baseman Jake Stahl. Jake Stahl with 5 runs batted in, including a home run, hitting .333 in this Deadball-based 19th century tournament. Cyclone Miller works in the stretch. The lefty wheels and deals. The 1-2 fastball. Stahl chops this one to short, and they're going to turn the double play. 6-4-3 double play, but in to score is Tris Speaker. Boston picks up its first run, and it's now 3-1 in favor of Providence. 2 away for Duffy Lewis. Yeah, there's an actually thing called courtesy runners. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We won't see. That's something that that no baseball sim is going to actually be able to emulate. It was an interesting rule during the Deadball. There was such thing as courtesy runners, not for the entire Deadball era, however, but rather interesting, and opened up some interesting strategies as well. If we get a hit batsman tonight, we'll talk a little bit about how hit batsman rules kind of changed during the Deadball era as well. Lots of rule changes between 1901 and 1920 in baseball. Pretty crazy. Some of them lasting just a day. Pretty crazy. And then we'll do a fun little story about Ty Cobb. And, well, you'll just get to it. We'll get to it. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll finish the broadcast. Hopefully I remember. Duffy Lewis hitting .250 with 3 runs batted in. Bases empty for Lewis. Here's the wind and the delivery by Cyclone Miller. Lewis swings liner to second, and Farrell will make the catch for the 3rd out. So 1 run, 2 hits. There were no errors, and we've played 1 full inning. The 1884 Providence Grays won. The 1912 Boston Red Sox won. So 3-1 your score as we go to the top of the 2nd inning, and second baseman Jack Farrell will lead it off here for Providence. Farrell hitting .231. He has yet to bat in a run. Does have 2 steals and a run scored, however. Ray Collins sets and fires. The 0-1 fastball, and this would medium deep to right. Harry Hooper coming in and making the catch. Hooper playing a little deeper. So 1 up, 1 down for Paul Radford, the right fielder, hitting .167. Radford has managed to score 3 times with a stolen base. No runs batted in for him. Ray Collins into the windup, and the 0-1 pitch. Fastball. This one chopped up the middle. Heine Wagner up and quickly onto Jake Stahl. So 2 up and 2 down here for the 1884 Grays. And here is Cyclone Miller. Miller not much of a batsman in 1884, just a .043 average. So went 1 for 23 in 1884 for Providence. So thanks for hanging out, checking out the broadcast, and those of you a little bit later, hopefully you'll be enjoying it as well, as Collins deals with Cyclone Miller. The 2-0 fly ball to left into foul territory on the left-hand side. Duffy Lewis making the running catch. No runs, hits, nor errors. We go to the bottom of the 2nd here in a newly christened Fenway Park. And it's the 1884 Grays leading the 1912 Boston Red Sox 3-1. Heine Wagner will lead it off. Shortstop will be followed by Ruff Kerrigan, Bill Ruff Kerrigan, and then Hall of Famer Harry Hooper. Wagner hitting .261 with a run batted in. Cyclone Miller into the wind and the pitch. Fastball swung on, base hit. This one under the hand of Arthur Irwin. So that is the 3rd base knock for the 1912 Red Sox. These teams tied in hits. Wagner on at first stole 21 bases in 1912 for the world champion Red Sox, who defeated the New York Giants. It was a crazy World Series 1912, very bitterly contested. Actually, too, we've actually replayed the 1912 series on this channel, and the Red Sox did win. Wagner with a good lead off first. Cyclone Miller sets and fires to Kerrigan. Here's the 2-0 spitball. Kerrigan sends this one fly ball to right field. Radford has it between his hands for out number 1. Henny Wagner getting back to first. Here's Harry Hooper. Hooper having an excellent tournament, hitting .348 with a run batted in. Miller checks Wagner at first. Here is the delivery, the 0-1. Hooper, bouncer to short. Irwin will go to Farrell on the pivot to Joe Start. So a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 in the books here at Fenway Park. And the score remains Providence 3 and Boston 1. Due up here, Paul Hines. We're back at the top of the order for Providence, followed by Cliff Carroll and Joe Start. So Paul Hines popped to third back in the first. Ray Collins has the sign from Rough Bill Kerrigan. Here is the wind in the 1-2 pitch. Curveball swung on. Come back to the mound. Collins easily makes the pick and the throw to Jake Stahl at first for the 1-3 putout. 1 up, 1 down here in the third. And coming up now, Cliff Carroll. Left fielder, switch hitter, singled between third and short. Collins with the leg kick and the 0-2, and this one chopped up the middle. Henny Wagner ranging to his left. 6-3 for the second out. Joe Start now 1 for 1. Boston looking to retire the side in order for the first time in this game. Line to single to right. Lefty-lefty matchup as Collins lets it go. The 0-2 fastball. This one lined to right. Harry Hooper takes it on the short bounce. So Joe Start aboard, and that will bring up catcher Barney Gilligan. Gilligan fly to left center. Joe Start leads off first. Collins with the check of the runner. Here comes the delivery. And there goes Joe Start. Kerrigan's throw down, the slide, not in time. Providence now with its 3rd stolen base in the contest. So runner in scoring position for the Grays. Barney Gilligan steps back in, and the 1-0 delivery from Collins. Gilligan swings, and this one a base hit to left field. Joe Start rounding third as Duffy Lewis comes up with the ball, and Joe Start will come in to score. And the Providence Grays not fooling around here, plating 1 here in the third, now making it 4-1. And unlike the Orioles, the 1894 Orioles and 1885 White Stockings, these games aren't as explosive. Hey, Gary Sorrell coming in to visit the channel again, and Aaron Reed coming in asking what is the good crack. Well, we're doing some Red Sox Providence Grays. Good to see you both. Welcome into some old time baseball. World's Worst Gamer greeting Gary and Aaron. So Jerry Denny, 3 runs batted in today, and it was a 3-run shot back in the first, giving up Providence at that time a 3-0 lead. Boston would answer with 1 back in the bottom of the first, and then Providence Grays of 1884 plating 1 here in the third, and that's where we stand, 4-1. And this was the year, of course, the inaugural year of Fenway Park, and the Boston Red Sox, of course, a world championship. Collins checks Gilligan at first. Here is the pitch. And there goes Gilligan and the slide, and he is safe. And the Providence Grays now look like that's their 4th stolen base of the day, making it count. So Barney Gilligan moving on 2 outs, and now in scoring position. And Aaron says he needs him some old-time baseball tonight. Favorite in this game, we thought, actually, through the tournament would be the 1912 Red Sox. But the Grays came back, facing elimination the last time these 2 teams met. So it's Red Sox 2 games, Grays 1, and now the Grays looking to even it up here to stave off elimination. Yep, so there you go. Way to go for the Reds, yeah. Congratulations, Cincinnati Reds, on an 11-game tear. Third consecutive sweep, good for the Reds. Hey, as long as Milwaukee doesn't get first place, that is fine with me. All right, Kerrigan ready to deal here. We're ready to set the sign. Here we go. Collins, let's go. The 0-1. And Denny, this one just a routine hopper to short, but Wagner hurrying his throw. Denny with great speed gets down to first. So Wagner perhaps too fast on the throw, unable to get Jerry Denny. So looked like it might have short hopped him, and Jerry Denny with good speed. So runners at the corners for Providence, 2 away and a run in. It's 4-1 Providence. And Arthur Irwin, the shortstop, grounded back to pitcher Collins in the first inning. Kerrigan sets, Collins deals from the stretch, and this one a ball, and they do not go for the runner, so Jerry Denny picks up the 5th stolen base for the Providence Grays, 2 in scoring position. Boston caught off guard there, another stolen base by Providence. I think this Boston battery, the way Providence has been running this afternoon at Fenway, needs to look out. Keep a sharp eye on these Grays running all over the place today. Collins deals now to Arthur Irwin, the 1-0. Irwin, fly ball, and Trispeaker covering some range out there in the center pasture, makes the catch. However, another run, 3 hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning here at Fenway Park. It's the Grays 4, the Red Sox 1. They're going to clash with the Braves. Yes, they are. It's going to be a good one. All right, second baseman, Steve Yerkes now. Yerkes hitting .263 with a run batted in. We're about to get through this Boston lineup for the first time. So we have Yerkes, Collins, and then back at the top of the order, the Gray Eagle, Trispeaker. Cyclone Miller lets it go. Here's the 2-1 to Yerkes. Fastball, and this one sent out to left field, and back there toward the wall is Cliff Carroll to make the catch. So 1 away here as pitcher Ray Collins steps in. Collins 0 for 2 in the tournament. In 1912, Collins hit .169 for the Red Sox, including 2 runs batted in. Bats from the left. Miller lets it go. The 0-2 fastball chopped up the middle. Base hit. This one getting by Farrell into center. Paul Hines gets it in. And Ray Collins is aboard. No real threat to steal. We go back to the top of the order now. Trispeaker. It was common in the dead ball era that when a runner was on with 1 out, that the next runner would be an automatic sacrifice. Also, the number 2 slot in the dead ball era was, you were frequently known as the sacrificer. So the idea was leadoff hitter gets on, it was an automatic sacrifice. You were playing small ball, the inside game they called it. So the sacrificer on this team actually would be Larry Gardner. So Collins at first, no speed. Trispeaker 1 for 1 in the game, single to right center to open up the festivities for the Red Sox back in the bottom of the 1st. Miller deals, the 0-1. Speaker swings, chopper to short. Irwin to Farrell, on to Joe Start. And just like that, the inning-ending double play turned by the Providence Grays. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 3 in the books here at Fenway Park. The Providence Grays, 1884, 4, and the Boston Red Sox, 1912, 1. All right, so Jack Farrell starts it off here in the 4th inning. Back in the 2nd, he flied to shallow right center. And Collins working from the hill in the 2-0, and Carroll grounds this one to Heine Wagner. This is a routine 6-3 put out. 1 up, 1 away. McF 3rd straight inning, the Red Sox into a double play. Yep. So Cyclone Miller has it together here. And Bernard Strom, Sports Replay. Hello, everyone. So make sure, go to his channel. He has a game coming up tomorrow evening, I think. Earlier in the evening, continuing his 1950 5-0 Boston Red Sox replay on PC Replay Baseball. Good baseball channel there. Bernard, our newest content creator, broadcaster, what have you. So do check it out. Good stuff. Good stuff. Small ball, extremely extreme in Deadball, and we'll talk more about it as the game goes along, including the ending story about how Ty Cobb scored a winning run because a certain rule in baseball didn't exist yet. It was really kind of interesting. All right, so stepping in now is Paul Radford, or rather something should have happened that didn't, that allowed Ty Cobb to, well, I'll just read the story to you when we get to it a little bit later. All right, so Radford grounded short back in the second. One away here in the Providence fourth as Collins sets and delivers. Again, our umpires today, we have Rick Owen. And actually, I'm told it is, yeah, it is. We have Bill Clem and Rick Owen. So Rick Owen out there around second. And again, during the Deadball era, until about 1914, there's usually only one umpire in a game. After 1914, you would have one umpire for part of the series, then two umpires. So what we recognize as having four umpires wasn't a thing yet. And of course, in the World Series, you didn't have six umpires as we do now. That would be a much later innovation in baseball. And I also want to tell you guys a story about something that Al Orth did in baseball that has never been done. And it was done in the Deadball era and only once. And we're talking about umpires tonight, and it has to do with umpiring. Collins deals now to Radford. Here's the 3-2. And this one missing low and outside. And Ray Collins gives up his first free pass. So runner aboard, and we've seen these Providence Grays. They've been running like crazy tonight. I believe up to 5 stolen bases, and it brings up Cyclone Miller, who is 0 for 1, flied down the shallow left field line back in, or his last time up, I should say. Radford into his lead. Collins delivers. Cyclone Miller gets the bunt down. Kerrigan's only play is going to be to Steve Yerke's covering on the wheel play, and moving to second into scoring position is Paul Radford. 2 away, and cousin Ken Castro saying Grays ahead. Indeed, they are 4-1. Don Deckinger, as Aaron says, may he rest in peace. And in my religion, we would say, may his memory be eternal. So, good evening to John DFW. Okay, guys, so Bernard has put the link into his YouTube channel. Please subscribe and hit that notification to notify and catch his 1950 Red Sox replay. Bernard, not sure who you're playing tomorrow, but I'll certainly be tuning into the game. But yeah, we're going to talk a bit about Al Orth and something that he did as an umpire, believe it or not. All right, so Collins ready to deal now to Paul Hines, who's nothing for 2. He has popped to third and grounded back to pitcher Ray Collins. 2 out, runner in scoring position for Providence as Collins brings the 0-2. And this fastball sent high to left and sort of deep, but Duffy Lewis playing it near the wall and inning over, no runs, no hits, no errors. A man left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's the Providence Grays 4 and the Boston Red Sox 1. As Larry Gardner will lead it off here. Gardner 1 for 1. I really do, I've been mentioning this book a lot, and I'm going to mention it again. It's really a fast read. It's probably 200 pages. It is called Tales from the Deadball Era. It's got this great picture of Shoeless Joe Jackson and Ty Cobb. And the subtitle, of course, is Ty Cobb, Home Run Baker, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and the Wildest Times in Baseball History. And I think when you read this book, what you're going to find is not only was the Deadball era wild, the Deadball era was actually a brutal time in baseball. So It really was. The play was brutal at times, and ballparks were not safe places to be. The dead ball era was a wild, crazy era. It was really the Wild West. I strongly suggest getting the book. It's well written. The citations are absolutely amazing, and I've been a student of dead ball baseball for years, and I'm learning so much out of this this little 200-page tome. So again, it is called Tales from the Dead Ball Era, and the author, for those of you interested, his name is Mark Halfin. I should add, Mark Halfin, PhD. So, all right. Let's get back to it now. After that little, and I do not know the author, but it's an excellent book, one of the best I've ever read on the dead ball era. I know some of you have expressed interest in wanting to learn more about it, and I think this book is a great primer to learn about dead ball baseball. I think you're going to get lots of laughs, you're going to get some shocks too, and some myths exploded, including one about Walter Johnson being afraid to throw to hit batters. That is not the case. All right, Miller deals now to Larry Gardner. Here's the 2-1. Gardner swings, fly ball shallow right field, and coming in and making the catch is Paul Radford. So one away for Jake Stahl. Jake Stahl grounded to short into a double play. Speaker able to score on that, and that has been the only Boston run, and that was in the bottom of the first. Yep, there you go. Mark, I got to turn around, it's behind me again. So, Halfon, Halfon. That's it. You got it, Nick. Thank you very much. It is a great book, guys. You can pick it up on eBay on the cheap. Excellent book. All right, Jake Stahl batting with the bases empty, one down here in the Boston fourth. Cyclone Miller ready to deal the 2-2. Stahl sends this one down the line to left, and in foul territory, making the catch. The running catch, Cliff Carroll. So 2 up, 2 down. The Red Sox did not bring their bats thus far, and here is Duffy Lewis. Red Sox know him, of course, as Duffy's Cliff. He lined to second back in the first. Miller deals to Lewis, the 0-1. Lewis swings. This one grounded to third. Jerry Denny up with it onto Joe Start at first. And the Red Sox go down 1-2-3. And we head to the visitors' half of the fifth inning. The Providence Grays 4, the Boston Red Sox 1. Leading off here, left fielder Cliff Carroll for the Grays. Carroll singled back in the first, grounded to short in the third. The line on Collins thus far in this game, he has worked 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, and a walk. Collins deals the 1-0. Fastball, and this one lined to center, and playing it on the hop is Speaker, and that will be hit number 7 for the Providence Grays. Will Cliff Carroll steal? We've seen, I think, 5 steals today from the Providence Grays. And speaking of steals, here is Joe Start. The first baseman has 2 steals to his credit today, including and also 2 singles. So Joe Start having a superb day for these Providence Grays, looking to force this to a Game 5, a deciding Game 5. Collins checks the runner, Carroll. Here's the wind and the delivery. There goes Carroll. The throw down is going to get to center field. Carroll is going to make it to third. So the stolen base festa, as you would say in Italian, continues. And the Grays in business looking for run number 5 as Cliff Carroll is just 90 feet away. Joe Start back in the box now at the 0-1. Start swings. This one chopped to third. Larry Gardner cannot hold on to the ball. And Carroll comes in to score. And Providence picking up another run here. It is now 5-1 in favor of the Providence Grays. So Cousin Ken should be very, very happy about that. So we do know at least we are going to have, going into round 5, we're going to at least have one 19th century team. And there, so should be a lot of fun. Everybody was thinking the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, who drew even last night, but those Red Stockings, or White Stockings of Chicago of 1885, what a tough team. If I were going to do a replay, and if this game could actually do the rules of 1885, I would love to play that team. All right, so courtesy runners. So we're going to talk about courtesy runners for a little bit in the Deadball era. Courtesy runners were different than pinch runners. And for those of you, Ken, you probably already know this, so just bear with me. So a courtesy runner would happen is if you had, this was a weird rule. So let's say the runner was injured on a play, but it wasn't terribly serious, but he was injured. A courtesy runner would be called in. However, it was not the manager on offense that would choose that runner, but rather the manager on defense. So frequently that courtesy runner, if you will, right? So let's say the Pittsburgh Pirates, right, are playing the Cubs, right? And so Wagner is going down to first, or he's trying to steal second, whatever, and he gets injured, right? So, right, Fred Clark's got a dilemma, right? So courtesy runner, Frank Chance, peerless leader of the Cubs, would choose a runner from the Bucco bench to run for Hannes Wagner. And again, the strategy there was to pick the slowest runner. The difference between a pinch runner and a courtesy runner, besides the fact that the offensive manager couldn't choose who was going to run, is the player who was injured could then return to the game. That was something that was very short-lived, but it was a thing in the Deadball era. So courtesy runners, they were called. All right, Barney Gilligan. What I want to do with Deadball games is try to, just with some of my knowledge of it, what I'm reading, and sort of, because people have been mentioning the comments they are enjoying Deadball, so I'd like to give little snippets about the game and maybe what was going on and how it was the same and yet a different game and what made it a wilder game. And John McGraw and some of his exploits and his brilliance. All right, with that being said, Joe Start is on first with nobody out. Barney Gilligan is 1 for 2, as Ken Castro says. He's loving this. So Gilligan, RBI single, scoring Joe Start back in the third. That made it Providence 4, Boston 1. Collins deals to Gilligan, and there goes Joe Start, and Joe Start is caught stealing for the first time today. So he is 2 for 3 in terms of steals. So Joe Start is erased, and Gilligan therefore batting with the bases empty and 1 down. Here's the delivery from Ray Collins, the 1-0. Gilligan swings. Hard ground ball, but Heine Wagner, full extension, snag and toss onto Jake Stahl as he falls to the infield dirt. Beautiful play out there by Heine Wagner for out number 2. John Denny now with 3 runs batted in, stands in from the right side. Of course, the big story, John Denny is 2 for 2, or Jerry Denny, I should say, a 3-run homer back in the first. Collins deals the 0-1. Denny grounds this one, and Yerke should have had that one and pops out of his glove. That will be error number 3 for the 1912 Boston Red Sox. And one thing we've seen throughout the meeting of these two teams is a high error rate, higher number of errors, I should say, for the 1912 Red Sox. Curiously, the Providence Grays, no errors. Mick F. saying his copy of Where They Ain't arrived today, getting a nice backlog of baseball books to read. You're going to love Where They Ain't. What a great, great book that is, Mick. You're going to absolutely enjoy it. I guarantee. All right, as Justin Wilson used to say. Remember they caught a few of him on the YouTube, the Cajun cook or chef or whatever. Take a little bit of onion, a little bit of wine. I guarantee. All right, Arthur Irwin here. So he's grounded out, flied out. Denny at first, 2 down. Collins lets it go. There goes Denny, and Jerry Denny has pilfered a sack. That's number 6 now for the Providence Grays. Irwin back in the box. Collins deals the 0-1. Irwin swings. This one popped high on the left side. Giving chase is Larry Gardner, but this one is going to get back about 15 rows at the newly christened Fenway Park. So back in the box now, Arthur Irwin, an 0-2 count on him, 2 down. Jerry Denny in scoring position. Here's the pitch. Irwin swings. Hard ground ball. Plenty of time for Heine Wagner to throw to Jake Stahl in the 6-3 putout. That does it for Providence here in the top of the 5th. They pick up another run, 1 hit. There were 3 errors committed by Boston in this inning. We go to the bottom of the 5th, and it's Providence 5 and Boston 1. Good evening to Legend Sports Universe, whose broadcast I've got to catch after this. He did a broadcast today continuing the franchise Stars Baseball League. Great stuff. Was busy today, unable to catch it live. Always good to see Legends in. Gary and Legends saying hi to one another. All right. Heine Wagner now strides to the plate, leading it off here for the 1912 Sox in the bottom of the 5th, down 5-1. The Providence Grays coming in as slight underdogs. In fact, cousin Ken Castro made a bold prediction at the beginning of this tournament a month or so ago, whenever we started 2 months ago, that the 1912 Red Sox would go all the way in this. It's going to be interesting to see what will happen. Heine Wagner, 1 for 1. Heine Wagner making a great defensive play in this game as well. Cyclone Miller looking at the line for him for Providence through 4 innings pitched, giving up 4 hits, only 1 earned run. The Cyclone deals the 1-1. Wagner swings and grounded to his opposite number at short. Arthur Irwin gets the throw across to Joe Start at first for the 6-3 put-up. 1 down here in the Boston half of the 5th inning. And it brings up Bill Ruff Kerrigan. The catcher flied to shallow center back in the 2nd. Cyclone Miller ready to twirl it in now. Here's the 0-1. Kerrigan swings. Bounding ball to short. Irwin ranges to his right, barehands it, and fires onto Joe Start to retire Kerrigan for the 2nd out of the 5th inning. So Boston has gone down in order a couple times, and in fact Cyclone Miller, except for the lone run scored by the Boston Red Sox in the bottom of the 1st, has held the Scarlet Hose scoreless since. Hall of Famer Harry Hooper, 0 for 1, grounded into a double play. Miller deals the 1-1. Hooper swings in this fastball. This one popped foul on the right-hand side, and this one will make the seats. The usher throwing the ball back to pitcher Cyclone Miller. Perhaps tossing a quarter to the spectator for a nice beer. The 1-2 delivery now. Hooper swings the line to short, and Farrell makes the catch. So Boston goes 1-2-3. We go to the top of the 6th. And the 1884 Grays 5, the 1912 Red Sox 1. The line on these teams thus far for Providence: 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors. They've stranded 4 for the 1912 world champion Boston Red Sox. 1 run, 4 hits, 3 errors. No one left on. Jack Farrell will lead it off here, followed by Paul Radford, and then Cyclone Miller for the Providence Grays. So Jack Farrell, last time up, grounded to short. Collins into the windup, and the 2-1 fastball. This one smacked up the middle for a base hit. This one by a diving Steve Yerkes at 2nd. Speaker up with that ball, getting it in quickly. So Farrell aboard at 1st. There's a picture of Jack Farrell. And here's Paul Radford now. Radford batting in the number 8 slot. Radford has grounded to short. Last time he walked. Collins checks Farrell, and again, remember, these Providence Grays have been running like madmen today and making it count. Collins deals. Farrell's off to the races. Kerrigan's throw down. Yerkes' tag is in time. So Farrell is caught stealing. So we've had, it looks like, 5 successful steals, 2 caught stealings in the game. So bases empty, 1 down. Radford back in the box in the 0-1. Radford swings, base hit to left, so the caught stealing hurts a little bit as Speaker and Lewis converge in that ball. And Duffy Lewis getting to the ball before Speaker and firing it back in. So Radford on at first, and it brings up Cyclone Miller. Sacrificed his last time up. Radford into his lead. Collins lets it go to Miller. There goes Radford. The throw down, the slide. The dust settles, and that's another stolen base for the Providence Grays. Aggressive small ball inside game. Johnny Evers wrote an extremely detailed, and you'll find this, I don't want to spoil everything, but in the book that I've been discussing, if you pick it up, you're going to be Johnny Evers was a great baseball mind. And I think you really, really like what Johnny Evers wrote about how long it would take to gun a runner down at second. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. The story I'm going to tell is not related to Cyclone Miller. No, it is not. Phillies and Braves are in the wild card hunt for the Franchise Stars Baseball League, says Legends, and Ken, of course, very, very happy to hear about that, and putting the link into the channel. That's why you have the wrenches, guys. Thank you. Just Speaker, one of those guys you can't wait to enter the Franchise Sports Baseball League. Absolutely. Tris Speaker still holds 2 records. One of them may be unbreakable, but in fact, I think is. All-time leader in doubles. He is also the only player in Major League history in one season to have 3 20-plus hitting streaks, 20-plus game hitting streaks, 3 times in the same season. So no one has come close to threatening Tris Speaker's doubles, which you'd think would be. Sam Crawford's lifetime triples, I think, is unbreakable. But 3 instances where Tris Speaker in one season hit safely in 20 or more games. I don't think anyone's going to touch that. Speaker, one of the all-time greats despite his predilections, but apparently didn't stay a crazy racist anti-Catholic for long, as he ended up marrying a nice Catholic girl. But it was rumored that Speaker may have been a member of the KKK. Who knows? But certainly one of the all-time greats, and holding records to this day. And for those of you that say Deadball doesn't count, there's Tris Speaker. I guess you could tell his ghost. All right. So anyhow, Radford on in scoring position, 1 down, and here's the delivery from Collins, the 0-1 to Cyclone Miller, and this one just getting the black. And we have to use modern terms. In 1912, this would have been a home plate. If we were playing in Providence, it would have been a little square. So that one paints the black. 2 away here as Radford remains in scoring position in second. Paul Hines now. Hines is nothing for 3. Collins deals the 3-1 curveball, and Hines, little grounder to Larry Gardner. The throw across the diamond. This will be close, and they get Hines by the proverbial gnat's eyelash. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of inning number 6. The Providence Grays 5, the Boston Red Sox 1. World Series Gamer says, okay, well then I will say that people should read up on Cyclone Miller. Interesting happening during his career, despite a very short time. Definitely will do that. In fact, let's do that right now. Let's do it right now. Let's go to Baseball Reference, and let's hide the scoreboard. And let's have a quick look at Cyclone Miller, who played from 1884 to 1886. And we do have a player bio from Sabre. So I'm going to bring that over to the screen. That way Sabre gets its proper due. All right. So here we go. Let's have a little fun. Hey, 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 hey. Yes, Dave Little. So congratulations to your Cincinnati Reds, doing very, very well. All right. So if you guys don't mind a little reading, sit back, grab a beer, grab a beverage. Thanks to World's Worst Gamer. All right, from an obscure 2-season pitcher, mid-1880s left-hander Cyclone Miller had a disproportionate effect on the Major League record book. For example, without Miller and his contribution to the troubles of the 1884 Providence Grays, it is improbable that teammate Haas Radbourn would have won 60 games that year, the all-time Major League single season record. Nor would Radbourn have likely pitched a Herculean 678 and two-thirds innings, the second most in game annals. The role, mostly circumstantial and inadvertent, played by Miller in Radbourn's record-setting achievements is recounted within. The story of Miller's life, however, begins at the beginning. So, let's have some fun with this, man. Apart from the fact that he was born on September 22nd, 1859 in Springfield, Mass., very little is known about the early life of Cyclone Miller. His birth name, Joseph, was that of his father, a French-Canadian immigrant about whom nothing else is known. Massachusetts-born mother, Mary Rivers, is another phantom. Also known about Miller is the extent of his schooling and his pre-baseball occupation. All that can be safely said about the Millers is the family was Catholic, which means the speaker wouldn't have liked them, and that it relocated to Pawtucket, Rhode Island, somewhere in Cyclone's youth. The area is known for its large French-Canadian population, originally attracted by jobs in local textile mills. As a young adult, Miller, in 1882, married Mary Froman Kavanagh. Oh, look at that nice Irish lass, the daughter of Irish immigrants. In time, the couple would have 6 children. Only 2 would survive. Let's go down to Major League Baseball. All right, here we go. So Miller entered the professional ranks in 1884, signing with the Worcester Club of Massachusetts State Association. Showing casual regard for contractual obligations, Miller abandoned Worcester in July to join the Chicago Browns of the upstart Union Association. A one-season circuit now accorded Major League status. On 11 July, Miller made a sensational debut for his new club, striking out 13 in a 10-2 victory over the Boston Reds. Immediately thereafter, he jumped to the Providence Grays of the National League. Miller was joining a pennant contender already stocked with 2 gifted but temperamental, difficult-to-keep satisfied hurlers, future Hall of Famer Haas Radbourn and the ill-fated Charlie Sweeney. New recruit Miller was signed as a rotation supplement intended to ease the Radbourn-Sweeney workload. On July 15th, Providence manager Frank Bancroft sent Miller to the box to face the Boston Beaneaters. The newcomer did well, hurling 7 shutout innings and taking a 3-1 lead into the 9th. But, revealing a weakness that would often handicap him, Miller could not finish the job. A Boston rally, aided by Providence fielding miscues, turned his maiden outing from a triumph to a 4-3 defeat. Notwithstanding the loss, Miller's performance earned him an encore 2 days later. But this time, Bancroft was taking no chances on a late-game meltdown by the rookie. With Providence nursing a 1-run come-from-behind lead, Sweeney was brought in to pitch a scoreless 9th and preserve the 5-4 victory. Making his 3rd start the very next day, Miller pitched poorly against the New York Gothams, later the Giants, walking 3, throwing a wild pitch, and complaining of a sore arm before being removed after 2 innings. Days earlier, discontented Radbourn had been placed on suspension by a club board of 12 directors. For the time being, this reduced the Providence pitching rotation to Sweeney and Miller. Unbeknownst to all concerned, the pieces were now in place for Radbourn's record-setting heroics. On 22nd July, staff mainstay Sweeney started a game against the Philadelphia Quakers, while Miller manned right field. With Providence in command 6-2 after 6 innings, Gray's captain Joe Start, acting on the instructions of manager Bancroft, who was intent on conserving his stalwart pitcher's arm, directed Sweeney and Miller to switch places. But an angered Sweeney refused. Instead, he stomped off the diamond, changed into his civilian clothes, and left the grounds. Under then existing rules, the departed Sweeney could not be replaced. This meant that the Grays had to finish the game with only 8 players, and over the final 3 frames, Miller's serves were frequently driven into the gap of the Grays, the gaps of the Grays down to 2-man outfield. In the end, Providence's 4-run lead became a 10-6 loss. Ouch, that hurts. All right. You know what? Viewership dropping off, but I'm reading to you, and I can understand it. But what a fun story this is turning out to be. Summoned to a meeting with club president Ned Allen, a very drunk Sweeney called him everything vile under the calendar. This is a quote. and was immediately terminated from the Grays employ. With management contemplating disbandment of the club, the canny Radbourne saw his chance to capitalize on the situation. Haas had resented sharing pitching duties with the younger Sweeney, and given the 632 and one-third innings that Radbourne had hurled for the Grays the previous season, felt himself fully capable of finishing the 1884 campaign single-handedly, provided he was extended the proper inducements: a doubling of his salary plus a $1,000 bonus, elimination of the reserve clause hold on his services, and the right to become a free agent at season's end. Gotta understand, guys, in the 19th century, that was huge. $1,000 bonus, right? And no reserve clause. So Radbourne showing some cojones there. How about it? So, with their pitching core reduced to sore-armed Cyclone Miller and untried novice Ed Conley, club brass quickly agreed to Radbourne's terms, reinstating him to the Grays roster and forging on with the season. Radbourne more than fulfilled his part of the new agreement. We all know that. Started 41 of the Grays' remaining 51 games, winning 18 straight at one point while posting a dazzling 35 wins, 4-1s, one-tie record over the entire stretch. One Radbourne victory, however, later became a matter of statistical controversy: a July 28th win in relief of Cyclone Miller. Given a start against Philadelphia, Miller labored through 5 innings and left the game trailing 4-3. A 4-run 6th-inning rally then put the Grays on top 7-4. In the bottom of the frame, Radbourne came in. Haas held the Quakers scoreless over the final 4 innings of an eventual 11-4 Providence triumph. At the time, the winning pitcher was the hurler who, in the estimation of the game's official scorer, had pitched most effectively for the winning side. Using that criterion, Radbourne was credited with the victory, one of the record-setting 60 wins he posted in 1884. More than 80 years later, Major League Baseball's Special Records Committee decreed that the 1950 rule for identifying a game's winning pitcher was to be applied retroactively by baseball statistical record revisers. In the case of the July 28, 1884 Providence-Philadelphia contest, this results in Radbourne losing credit for the victory. Because Cyclone Miller had pitched the requisite 5 innings by a starter, and because Providence held a lead that would never be relinquished before Radbourne came in, the win was reassigned to Miller, with Radbourne getting retroactive credit for a save, but having his victory total reduced to 59. As might be expected, the Rules Committee decision was not well received in many quarters. In an early 2019, it was rejected by the influential statistical site BaseballReference.com, which returned the July 28, 1884 win to its original owner, Haas Radbourne. This action put Radbourne back at 60 wins for the season, while simultaneously reducing Miller's 1884 win total by 1/4 from 4 to 3, at least according to Baseball Reference. And again, I apologize if anybody's bored being read to, but this is fun stuff. So, it was an insane bonus for that time, $1,000. Bobby Catalano is in here with us. On July 31st, 1884, Miller became the unanticipated center of strife at a Polo Grounds match. Uh-oh, here we go. Between the Goths. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hang on a second here. Yep. Between the Grays and the Gothams. With intermittent rain already causing a delay, few expected the game to be played. This apparently included umpire Eugene Van Court. Ah, here we go. Who failed to appear for his duties. But once the weather became tolerable, Grays manager Frank Bancroft pressed to get the game in. Reluctantly, New York agreed to play, accepting Cyclone Miller as emergency umpire. So I'll stop right here and say this, guys. In 19th century and into the Deadball era, again, frequently because you only had one umpire in the game, if he didn't show up, a player would be asked to umpire, be agreed upon on both clubs. So Christy Mathewson was a player who would umpire, for instance. Clubs would try to agree. So this was something that happened in baseball. The players, but Outworth did something amazing, but I want to see if Cyclone Miller did the same thing here. All right. So, if the Gothams expected even-handed treatment from the Providence pitcher turned arbiter, they would be sorely disappointed. Close calls were invariably decided in the Grays' favor, prompting one New York daily to declare that, quote, a more disgraceful exhibition of umpiring was never seen in this city than that shown by Miller, end quote. Another complained that Miller was unfair and gave every decision in favor of his club. With a small but vocal home crowd hooting derision at Miller, he decided to call the game on account of darkness after 9 innings, with the score deadlocked 3-3. Umpire Miller then required a police escort to depart the ground safely. Again, when you read Tales from the Deadball era and also the Summer Beer or Whiskey and Beer, you'll get all this fun stuff too. This was not an anomaly. 2 days later, Miller made his final appearance as a starter for Providence, hurling a complete game 9-2 victory over the Philadelphia Quakers. Despite that showing, the next time iron-armed Radbourne required respite, Bancroft turned to untested Ed Conley rather than Miller. The route-going shutout that the 20-year-old pitched against Philadelphia on August 8th impressed the Grays skipper. From then on, Conley pitched on Radbourne's infrequent days off. Miller's subsequent work was confined to a lone mop-up relief appearance. Behind the yeoman effort of Radbourne, the Grays cruised to the pennant, finishing a comfortable 10.5 games ahead of the second-place Boston Beaneaters, who were a tough team, by the way. Providence then swept a 3-game postseason match with the American Association champion New York Metropolitans in the precursor to the modern World Series. By that time, however, Cyclone Miller was gone from the Grays. He finished the season with Philadelphia and took a late September 19-7 shellacking from Chicago in a 1-game tryout for the Quakers. So, and then there's lots more about, again, Cyclone Miller and some bad habits and stuff like that. Again, drinking and was blacklisted. And you can read the rest. Again, if you go to Baseball Reference, you can find the Sabre bio, but I think what World's Gamer was talking about was the umpiring thing, which is really, really fun. So related to that then is Al Orth. So Al Orth was called to umpire a game because the umpire didn't make it. So Orth indeed, I believe Al Orth, I can't remember the club. Was he a Giant? I can't remember right now because my brain's frazzled. But Al Orth is umpiring the game, but in the 9th, and I believe it was the Giants, right? Whatever it was, his club needed a pinch hitter. So Al Orth, the umpire, became Al Orth, the pinch hitter. So how about that for a little baseball trivia about Al Orth? Umpired and then pinch hit in the same ball game. I think that is really, really, really fun. Ken Castro says that Sweeney left after the riff of Old Haas, going to the St. Louis Maroons of the Union Association the second half of 1884. Oh, absolutely. Very, very interesting World's Worst Gamer. Thank you. And a bunch of people left the chat, not wanting a bedtime story, but that was fun to read. Thank you. Thank you for that, man. Love it, love it, love it. All right, Steve Yerkes here leads it off in the 6th. We'll kind of speed things up here a little bit. Of course, you know that's not true. Miller delivers. Here's the 1-2 to Yerkes. Chopper to third, and Jerry Denny up with it, and on to Joe Start for out number 1. I didn't know about that rift, anything. So World's Worst Gamer, thank you for that. That was brilliant, brilliant stuff. Poor Cyclone Miller. How about it? But what a great nickname, huh? All right, Ray Collins grounded a single his last time up. 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th. Miller deals the 1-2. Collins swings and misses. So that's the first strikeout issued by Cyclone Miller. 2 away here, and that will bring up Tris Speaker, who is 1 for 2 in the contest. Grounded into a double play back in the 3rd, which is something that Tris Speaker rarely did. Miller deals the 0-2 fastball swung on. Comebacker to Cyclone Miller, who fires it on to Joe Start for the 1-3 putout, and down go the Red Sox in order. We go to the top of the 7th, and it's 5-1 Providence over the Red Sox. So Cliff Carroll steps in. He has 2 steals today, and he is 2 for 3 at the plate. Singled his last time up. Collins with the wind and the 0-1. Fastball. This one grounded. Great play again by Heine Wagner, rating hard to his right. able to get that throw off in time to get the speedy Cliff Carroll for out number 1. So 2 great plays for Heine Wagner today. Here's Joe Start. He is 2 for 3 in steals and 2 for 3 in terms of hits. Collins deals the 1-2. And Start sends this one routine to center field. Tris Speaker camps under it and makes the catch for out number 2. And it brings up Barney Gilligan. As Ken Castro says, Haas really didn't want to share the limelight with Sweeney. He pitched many games with a bad arm rather than yield to Sweeney. Wow. Old Haas, tough dude. Tough dude. And how many innings, according to that bio, too, that he pitched year before. I didn't know, though, cousin, about the that whole rule change that retroactively took that win away from Radbourn. Then Baseball Reference rejecting it and putting it back. So that was a fun kind of story. 72 complete games. Whew. All right, here's Barney Gilligan, 1 for 3, 2 down. Collins with the 1-0-2 and fastball. Swung on a miss for strike 3. It is 5-1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. All right, as Aaron Reed says, let me hear you good and loud. And just for copyright purposes, the article not read in its totality under the Copyright Act of the United States, I claim as fair use, and all credit goes to the Society for American Baseball Research, SABR.org. All right, with that out of the way, bottom of the 7th, Larry Gardner to lead it off. And yeah, I know it sounds silly, guys, but I used to do copyright compliance both for Penn State and for the University of Michigan. So when you use something like that, you do have to claim fair use, which I've done. All right, Larry Gardner is 1 for 2. Singled back in the first and fly to shallow right in the 4th. Cyclone Miller, the wind in the 0-1. This one, little grounder up the middle. Farrell has it and on to Joe Start to easily retire Larry Gardner for out number 1. So that brings up first baseman Jake Stahl. He's nothing for 2 against Providence today. Does have an RBI in this game, though. Miller deals the 1-2. Stahl swings. This one chopped to Irwin at short and on to Joe Start in plenty of time for out number 2. Boston could be going in order again. Duffy Lewis will try to prevent that from happening. He is 0 for 2. The lefty stands against Cyclone Miller. Here is the 0-2 delivery, spitball, and base hit left field. So Boston staying alive here in the bottom of the 7th with Duffy Lewis aboard. Lewis in 1912 with just 9 steals. Heine Wagner 1 for 2. Shortstop stepping in now. He grounded to short back in the 5th, his last time up. Miller toes the slab, lets it go. Count even. The 2-2 pitch, base hit. Left field, here come the Red Sox. Duffy Lewis will round second and slide into third, and the throw safe. So runners at the corners, and the 9th base hit now, or the 6th base hit, I should say, for the 1912 Red Sox. And here comes Bill Kerrigan. Kerrigan just 3 for 23 as of this at bat in this tournament. Miller works from the stretch in the 2-0. Curveball, Kerrigan bounces this one to second, and Farrell just holding on to the ball, dropping it, but catching it just before it hits the shoelace. Didn't have control of it according to the official scorer. And a run scores for the Boston Red Sox. That is the 2nd run of the game, and they're inching closer. It is now 5-2. Boston held scoreless innings 2 through 6. So bookending their runs right now, 1 in the 1st, 1 here in the 7th with 2 down. So will that be a costly error for Jack Farrell? We shall see. Heine Wagner at 2nd, Bill Kerrigan at 1st, Harry Hooper nothing for 2. Line to 2nd his last time up. Lefty-lefty matchup as Miller lets it go. The 0-1 fastball. Hooper sends this one to Paul Hines in center, who runs in and makes a running catch to end the inning. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error. 7 in the books here at Fenway Park. It's the Providence Grays 5 and the Boston Red Sox of 1912 2. Jerry Denny will lead it off here. The hot corner man is 2 for 3 today, including 3 runs batted in. Had that big 3-run homer back in the first. Collins works to him now. The 0-2 fastball, and this one just catching the edge of the plate for strike 3. So 3rd K hung up for Ray Collins in the game, and it brings up now Arthur Irwin. Providence shortstop today is 0 for 3, grounded short his last time up. The leg kick and the delivery from Ray Collins. The 3-1 fastball. Irwin chops to short. Heine Wagner up with a textbook 6-3 putout of Irwin for out number 2 here in the visitors' half of the 8th. Jack Farrell now singled back in the 6th. Here's the wind and the delivery. The 2-0. Farrell sends this one to right field. Hooper has it in his sights and brings it down. So the Grays go in order. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and the score remains Providence 5, Boston 2. Providence looking to even up this best of 5, down 2 games to 1. We enter the bottom of the 8th inning, holding a 3-run lead. Steve Yerkes, Ray Collins, and Trispeaker due up for the 1912 Scarlet Hose. And thank you guys for hanging out and having some fun here in this Deadball 19th century baseball. Purposely 2 words. And here's the pitch to Yerkes, the 0-2. Spitball in there, and Yerkes swings and comes up empty and kind of brushes a little bit of spittle from that swing around the bat. 1 away. Ray Collins is 1 for 2. Pitcher helping his own cause by singling back in the 3rd. Miller with the 2-2. Collins. This one catches the outside corner. And how about Cyclone Miller, star of tonight's broadcast, posts his 3rd strikeout. Cousin Ken wanting this to go to a game 5, and Lord willing and the creeks don't rise, as they say. Ken Castro will be in here. I already know he's going to want Haas Radborn to start the deciding game 5 should Providence hold on and win today. Speaker, we're back at the top of the order now for the 1912 Sox. Speaker, 1 for 3 in the game. Cyclone Miller winds, deals the 0-2. Speaker grounds this one. Hard grounder to second, and the bad throw by Farrell out there. Jack Farrell allows Speaker to make it the 1st. So that is the 2nd error committed by the Providence Grays with 2 down. Possibly the only good news at this point. But Speaker with incredible speed at first. 52 steals in 1912 for Speaker. The Gray Eagle. Again, as Legend Sports Universe mentioned earlier in the broadcast, one that he can't wait, player that he can't wait to see enter the Franchise Sports Baseball League. So certainly be a lot of fun to see some of the great players I know that are not in Legends League that will be. Clemente, Kiner apparently aren't in there yet. Speaker not in there yet. So it's going to be good stuff. I don't think Wagner's even in it yet. All right, Larry Gardner, 1 for 3. Speaker an aggressive lead off first. Miller with a check of the runner and a 3-1. Curveball, this one missing. And Cyclone Miller in a little bit of trouble now. The tying run comes to the plate in Jake Stahl. 2 down, Jake Stahl in the game. Grounded to a double play back in the 1st. Cousin Ken says, oh no, if Cousin Ken's feeling there needs to be a change, Cousin Ken can put up the pink glove of despair, as Steve Tate likes to call it. Gilligan sets the target. Can Cyclone Miller get out of this emerging pickle? Let us see. The 0-1. Stahl swings in this curveball. Bounding ball down to first. Joe Start will take it to the bag himself. So the Boston Red Sox of 1912 threaten, but they do not score. We go to The top of the ninth here at newly built Fenway Park. And it's the 1884 Providence Grays 5, the 1912 Boston Red Sox 2. Paul Radford will lead it off. We will see the number 8, 9, and 1 hitters for these Providence Grays. Paul Radford, Cyclone Miller, and Paul Hines. Right fielder Radford is 1 for 2, so singled back in the 6th. Collins with straight 3 strikeouts and a walk so far through 8 innings of work. Lefty Collins deals. Here's the 1-2 fastball. Chopped to first. Jake Stahl will wave off Ray Collins and retire Mr. Radford for out number 1. Cyclone Miller 0 for 2. Collins wheels and deals. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball. This one chopped to first base. Jake Stahl underhanded toss to Ray Collins. 2 up, 2 down for Providence. And it's up to Paul Hines to maybe do something a little here. Add a little bit of insurance. Not sure whether Cyclone Miller, looking for him to go the distance, give old Haas, even though Haas is chomping at the bit to get in there. 0 for 4 for Paul Hines. Collins deals the 1-0. Hines swings, grounded, and once again, Heine Wagner, third great play for him at short, and that will take care of Paul Hines and the Providence Grays. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning with the 1912 Boston Red Sox trailing by 3. In the heart of the order coming up, Duffy Lewis, Heine Wagner, and Bill Ruff Kerrigan. Here we go. 5, 9, and 2 for Providence, 2, 6, 3 for Boston. Duffy Lewis 1 for 3 in the game. Singled back in the 7th. Cyclone Miller in this game. 8 innings pitched, 6 hits, only 1 earned run, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. The 3-1 delivery to Duffy Lewis. Fastball missing. So there's a walk, and we're going to pause, see what Cousin Ken might want to do. I'm seeing nothing there yet. So Heine Wagner 2 for 3, and some great plays today. Heine Wagner. Mound visit. Okay. Got to do a little bit of a thing here. Human. There we go. Mound trip. It says that Miller is strong. We'll leave this on Human because I just got a feeling. All right, so. Oh, no, I can't because there's a runner on. So I have to switch one of these back to Computer Manager. Since Cousin Ken is here, we're going to let the computer take over Boston, and Cousin Ken will take over Providence for this 9th. There we go. Fair enough. Miller sets and deals. Gilligan out to have a quick word with Miller. Back behind the dish. Here is the wind in the. Oh, we got some boos going up. Wagner chops to second, and Arthur Irwin juggles it but holds on and gets the lead runner, Duffy Lewis. So big out. They do not turn 2, but a big out for Providence here in the bottom of the 9th. And here's Ruff Kerrigan, the catcher, 0 for 3. Heine Wagner at first with 21 steals in 1912. Big woo from manager Castro, the Providence Grays. Miller sets and fires. Count even on Kerrigan at 2-2. And this one chopped foul on the first base side. This one will make the seats. Kerrigan back in. We'll get another look at Cyclone Miller. Here is the pitch. Fastball, base hit, center field. Paul Hines in center, not able to hold on to the ball. And things could be falling apart here with 1 out. 2 Red Sox in scoring position. Wagner at third, Kerrigan at second, and Harry Hooper sporting an 0 for 3 strides to the plate. And we're going to go to pitch mode for this. So the tying run now at the dish for the Red Sox, 2 in scoring position. Batter, says Cousin Ken Castro. All right, we're going to go to pitch mode on this. Miller working from the stretch to the Boston right fielder. Here it comes, fastball. And this one missing just low. Ball one on Harry Hooper. Gilligan tosses it back to Miller. Rubbing up that misshapen ball. Infield in, says the manager. Infield is in, trying to cut off the run at the plate. All right. Here is the 1-0 pitch to Harry Hooper. And this one missed in, this one tight. So Miller coming in, trying to establish his territory there. Count 2-0 now on Harry Hooper. Here is the delivery from the stretch and the 2-0 to Harry Hooper. Fastball, base hit, right field. That's going to score Heine Wagner. Rounding third is Ruff Kerrigan. Two come in to score for the Boston Red Sox. Hooper with a 2 RBI single, and the Red Sox just 1 run behind the Providence Grays. And we're going to put a little pause here to see whether we're going to have a relief pitcher. Tying run at first, the winning run comes to the plate, and second baseman Steve Yerkes, as manager Castro is calling already. Here he comes. All right, Radbourn coming in to pitch. Cyclone Miller leads with a 1-run lead. He is responsible for Hooper at first. What can we say? We've already said it about Old Hoss Radbourn, except to say that Dave Cook did not restore that 60th victory to Old Hoss. So he is still 59-12 with a 1.38 earned run average in 1884. Struck out 441 batters, walked 98. And even considering the rules of the time, that is one hell of an achievement. All right, here we go. Radbourn has finished his warm-up pitches. We're going to go to pitch mode again on this. 1 out, runner at first. And the winning run at the plate. Steve Yerkes is 0 for 3. Radbourn looking to get it done here. And Olaf Henriksen will come in to pinch hit. Here we go. So Henriksen, we've seen not only, when you look at baseball, was largely used, baseball hit great by the Red Sox as a pinch hitter, but used all throughout this. No starts for Olaf Henriksen. He is 2 for 4 as a pinch hitter, so he's been getting it done. Run batted in. So here we go. Old Hoss checks Hooper at first. Harry Hooper with 29 steals in 1912 for these world champion Red Sox. Radbourn with the delivery. Fastball. This one popped behind the plate. Gilligan back. Will we have enough room? This one out of play. So Olaf Henriksen steps in. Count 0-1 on him. Here's Radbourn's delivery. Henriksen swings, grounded to second. Farrell will go to Irwin, and they will get the lead runner. So 2 down, and Olaf Henriksen aboard on the fielder's choice, and it's pitcher Ray Collins. And I suspect the Red Sox were going to be sending a pinch hitter up for Collins, despite the fact that he is 1 for 3 in the contest. And here we go. Once again, we're going to go to pitch mode on this. And will we see a pinch hitter for Collins? And coming in to pinch hit will be Marty Krug. So Krug batting for Boston. Let's look at his numbers very quickly. In 1912, saw limited action, a 308 hitter. He was 12 for 39, 2 doubles, a triple, 7 runs batted in, 2 steals. Henriksen at first, no steals in 1912 for him. All right, Gilligan kind of standing behind the plate, as was customary for 19th century baseball. No crouches. Radbourn delivers to Marty Krug. Here's the first pitch. Curveball, and this one missing for ball one. Count 0-1 now on the pinch hitter. Radbourn peers in. He is ready to work. The 1-0 delivery to Krug. Krug swings, bounding ball to short. Irwin to Farrell, and that is your ball game. The 1884 Providence Grays even up the series at 2 apiece and take this one despite a late inning threat, a late game threat, bottom of the ninth threat. By the 1912 Boston Red Sox, they win this one 5-4 under the excellent managing, the acumen, if you will, enthrall us all. Cousin Ken Castro. Love it. All right. So the 1884 Providence Grays force a game 5. So we have, in this Ken Castro League, we have 2 great games coming up. Both game 5 deciders. One will advance, one will go home. We'll go over that in the playoff bracket. But first, let's do our recap. For the victorious Providence Grays, who even the series now, 5 runs, 9 hits, 3 errors. The 1912 Boston Red Sox, 4 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors. Cyclone Miller, credit with the win. He goes to 1-0. Ray Collins, tagged with the loss. He goes to 1-1 in the tournament. No, as you would suspect, no real highlights for the Boston Red Sox. In fact, not even an extra base hit for them. However, for the Providence Grays, so Jerry Denny, 2 for 4, that big 3-run homer back in the first. Cliff Carroll goes 2 for 4 with 2 steals. Joe Start, hell of a day for him, 2 for 4 and 2 stolen bases. Let's have a quick look at pitching here. So Miller goes 8 1/3, 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, walked 2, struck out 3. Haas Radbourn picks up the save, his first in the tournament, 2/3 of an innings worked. Ray Collins went the distance, 9 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, all earned, a home run, a walk, 3 strikeouts. Let's look at our miscellaneous here and count up the crazy amount of stolen bases. And there you have it. I mean, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stolen bases by Providence. How about it? Great, great stuff. So Cliff Carroll, let me see. Cliff Carroll had what? 2 steals. Start had 2 steals. Jerry Denny with a pair of steals. Just what a fun game this has been. Heine Wagner making 3 great plays for the Boston Red Sox to no avail. Game-winning RBI, Jerry Denny, and the MVP, Jerry Denny. Providence left 5, and Boston left 5. So only 1 double play turn, and that was by Providence. And that was Providence's 3rd double play in this tournament. How about that? Let's look at our playoff bracket now. Wow, wow, wow. Cousin Ken said he didn't see this coming. I don't think anybody saw this coming. So, all right. Yeah, I'm glad he got the win, too. How about it? Yeah. So, Wood versus Old Haas in Game 5. That could happen, certainly. So, what do we have going on? First, what is done? The 1907 Chicago Cubs and the 1908 Cleveland Naps waiting for this to be over. They'll be locking up. However, round 3 is empty because we will have at least one 19th century team in there. The 1912 Boston Red Sox and the 1884 Providence Grays tied at 2 games each, and the 1894 Baltimore Orioles and the 1885 Chicago White Stockings also tied at 2 games. So pretty exciting stuff as we move forward. The next time we meet, which will be tomorrow evening, it will indeed, once again, we'll be returning to what has been a battlefield between the 1894 Orioles and the 1885 White Stockings. I hope that you'll join us. I promise no long saber articles, but I had to read that one. Red Sox killed themselves by hitting it a double play in each of the first three. Definitely, definitely. Um, Errors not playing a big factor in this game, despite Boston having three in one inning. So not a huge factor. But we can set those. Oh, tomorrow I have no idea who the starters are going to be for tomorrow. Um, so the way tournament mode works in this, it won't tell me until we can go in, but we can set the starters for Baltimore and Chicago. So hopefully you'll be in, and we can set those starters. Can't tell you. I don't know. If we were playing this as a season, I could tell you who they are. But if I hit play right now, we would have to play the game. World's Worst Gamer says, McGaff, he had that happen to me while playing a game time versus Carl Hubble. Ah, what a beast, Hubble, right? This has been a fun tournament, and these are the teams, again, adding a few more to make to do Ned McGreevy, the next version of McGreevy. I think we really can just draft from these guys rather than going 1880 to 1919. I think we have a good selection of players. Add in the 1904 Highlanders, the 1899 Brooklyn Superbas, the 1917 White Sox, and there was one other team. I can't remember. I have it written down somewhere. Bring back those four teams, and I think we have a hell of a draft pool. Thank you, World's Worst Gamer. Appreciate it, man. So, didn't mind the reading. Thank you. So, really appreciate you guys tonight. Again, I've been touting these books, and the one I'm touting lately is Tales from the Deadball Era. Even if you're not a fan of Deadball baseball, do yourself a favor, pick it up. It's a great read. Um, I think you'll really like it. It's really, really, really good stuff. And so I guess with that, we're going to shut it down. I don't know what you guys are playing. When anybody's playing, let me know. Let the chat know. Remember, Bernard Strom has a game coming up tomorrow. Please do check that out. And also, remember Legend Sports Universe and that fantastic baseball league that he's doing. Christopher Slowick saying, "Hope all is well." Welcome in, my friend. You're catching us as the game is over, but what we have left now in this tournament going into round three is going to be so much fun. These teams are battling hard, and at this point, cousin, I don't know. I mean, so if you remember back in round one, these 1912 Red Sox did take care of the 1911 Philadelphia A's, but it was 2 games to 1. So they have not been a team that has swept anybody. Neither has Baltimore. In fact, there was only one sweep in the first round, and that was the 1919 Reds. But they themselves were swept by the 1907 Chicago Cubs, who had a bye in round one. The big surprise, I think, other than the teams that we've seen last night and tonight, has been the 1908 Cleveland Nabs, who dispatched the 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates 3 games to 1. So good stuff. Thank you, Chris. He says this would be so much fun to listen to. So, yeah. So, Christopher, you're still in the United States? Just sending a quick message to a dear friend of mine. There we go. All right. So Christopher, I guess when he returns to Pakistan, will be continuing the Creators Cup series. Looking forward to that. I'm assuming you didn't bring any of your equipment with you, so be looking for you to resume that. However, no hurry. Good to have you here in the Commonwealth. I guess that's it, guys. So, thank you to the heart of the soul of this family, this channel, Cousin Ken Castro, to Christopher Slovic, fellow Bucco fans. Chris, what happened to our Bucks? Holy hell. But I guess the good news is at least it's not the Milwaukee Brewers in first place, so that's nice. So congratulations, you Cincinnati Reds fans. Your team is doing well. Hopefully they continue to do well. World's Worst Gamer, as always, good to see you in here, my friend. Mick F. Mick, you were talking about Action PC Baseball. I will, get a little conversation going in the Discord about that. Um, in one respect, I do get where you're coming from. So, but we can talk about that. We don't need to be talking about that here. No, guys, it's nothing bad, no drama. Just some things about Action PC, because there's a couple things I wanted to ask you, Mick, about what you had written concerning what you were doing, and so, but I'll ask you in there. Anyhow, good to see you in here tonight. And hey, no talk of chairs tonight. How about that? All right. Who else do we have in here? Of course, Aaron Reed was hanging out with us for a while. Bobby Catalano. Dave Little, who's got to be over the moon about his Reds, of course. And it is a great time. Legend Sports Universe, of course. Gary Sorrell, thank you, Gary, for coming in once again with us. So, third time's the charm is how it works in this family. And let's see who we got here. John DFW, thank you, John. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bernard, of course. Bernard, thank you. I never know if I'm saying your name correctly, if it's Strum or Straum. I'm really, really not good with Germanic names. So, mea culpa. I don't mean to mispronounce your name. All right, guess that's it. That is everybody. Thank you, Gary. Gary hanging in to the very, very end. And appreciate it. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow night for the deciding game between the 1894 Baltimore Orioles and the 1885 Chicago White Stockings. Until then, everybody, have fun. Roll up some games. Have some fun. Love the baseball and everything else that you're doing. And until then, see you around the batting cage. Thank you, Christopher. You too have a wonderful night. And to everybody, see you around the batting cage.